Anyways, I have a tattoo. It's of a bluebird that I adopted off of the midsection of my friend's son, who was heavily tattooed when he was tragically murdered in 2010. I copied that tattoo on my body with the scriptures Hebrew 11:1 underneath it. Faith is sure of what we hope for, but certain of what we do not see. Sometimes in life, things don't always make sense. It's a reminder to me that although I'm not quite sure of what's ahead with my faith in check, in time, things will work out. I touch that bird on my skin a lot, and I know that God's got this. I have many jobs and roles here in Lake Chelan. Some of you know me as the coordinator of the after-school program at the middle school. You see me on the side of the highway. I lead colorful two-wheelers on wine tours via electric bikes. One of my favorite jobs. I work here at Sorrentos on occasion. I'm the mother of Eli and Ava Dix, who are both in just 2 days to go off to college. I am the wife of the executive chef at Campbell's, Troy. I'm also a landlord and a groundskeeper. But my most important job is right here, right now. As your friend, your coworker, your neighbor, your community member, doing the best that I can to follow my faith as I proclaimed many years ago, and to share my life and my faith with people who are sometimes far from God. I sometimes think that I'm not good enough for that role. I don't say the right things a lot of times. I can get a little mouthy. I like red wine a lot.
Amen.
I can end up on the tables dancing a lot. But God has never left my side, and He continues to prove to me that I am made for this. I first publicly announced my faith the summer of 1984 in Malibu Club in Canada. It's a Young Life camp up in Canada. 1984. My sister was up there as on work crew assignment, and I was likely involved in a club nearby. I've always had a very free spirit, especially in my 20s. And actually, I just have a free spirit. Always, let's not beat around the bush here. I've always had a free spirit. I've just been a little bit of a wild child. And I will not admit to changing my life completely at first in 1984 at Young Life Camp. But I did make a decision that summer to embark on a personal journey with my Creator. Years later, in the early 2000s, I was living in the Upper Valley, married, settled down just a hair, and I was involved with the youth group at the Leavenworth Church of the Nazarene. I came across a Young Life sandwich board, and my heart and mind immediately flipped back to that week at camp, and I made a decision that I wanted Young Life back in my life. It didn't take long. I introduced myself, and pretty soon I became a Young Life leader. I worked alongside Adam Powers for years, poured my heart into kids, running clubs, hanging at high schools, bringing kids to camp, driving them around everywhere until midnight, loving them where they were at, and loving absolutely every minute of it. Unfortunately, as some of you can relate in your own lives, tragedy and suffering come when we least expect it. In 2008, life as I knew it changed. Due to a dual disorder of mental illness set on by alcoholism, my first marriage shattered. The father of my children completely left us, physically, emotionally, and financially. Because of the sudden departure of my spouse, I was losing my home. And when I finally reclaimed myself, as I ultimately did, I was changed. 2 Corinthians 12:7-9 says, My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. Therefore I will boast all the more gladly of my weakness, so that Christ's power may rest in me. It was time to think my life afresh. It was time to examine my faith. It was time to lead deeper than ever before. Because of the abandonment and the publicity of my situation, I had to step away from Young Life, which was very difficult for me. I did not want to step away from ministry, as Bill Dooley will confirm. While God may not deliver us from the trials of this world, He will never leave us or forsake us as we go through them. And given the chance, He will miraculously restore us to show forth His glory. I ended up starting an adult outreach small group. I called it, "What the Hell is Heaven?" I walked alongside some adults a lot like me, and I examined my faith. I asked a lot of questions. I began to look at life with new eyes. And although things were a little messy for me, for the first time in a long time, I had hope. Moving back to Chelan, my husband Troy, keeping the house that I thought I lost in Leavenworth. I wouldn't be here today if grace wasn't extended and I didn't cling tight to His truths. Fast forwarding just 1 year ago, I was just like many of you. I was sitting right here in this banquet, wondering, where do I fit in this? I think for some of you, only God knows that. My involvement with Young Life honestly started with a tiny prayer, sitting right here in this room, asking God how He wanted to use me. I walked the halls of the middle school and high school, and I've been on the sidelines of numerous athletic events. And while some of our kids have true and deep and honest faith, many do not. In my opinion, faith and hope is needed to sustain in this world. And some of our kids desperately need to believe in something bigger than themselves, and they need to believe in something bigger than their everyday circumstances. Each week, here in Chelan, we have several adults pour their hearts into kids, walking alongside them, loving them right where they're at, showing up for club every week, helping them make sense of life, and laugh along the way. We have committee members who meet and plan how best we can support Young Life, how we can support the leaders that are working in our schools and in our neighborhoods. We have people volunteer to drop off food on club nights. And we couldn't do it without our donors. Just a few weeks ago, my husband and I had the opportunity to be adult guest hosts at Washington Family Ranch in Oregon, a Young Life camp, one of the biggest Young Life camps. It's absolutely amazing and beautiful. We were given the opportunity to camp alongside kids and show adults what camp is like, just like a kid. It was so awesome. We witnessed belly-aching laughter while simultaneously middle school kids developed a spark for their faith and embraced hope. Young Life in Chelan right now has awesome momentum. We're so happy that you're here tonight and to meet our new friend and area director, Dave. And to have this opportunity to share with you what Young Life is doing in the lives of kids in this valley, how it's changed my life, and how it's changing kids' lives, one tiny beating heart at a time. I am a true display that Jesus does not call the equipped, He equips the called. It started for me as just a small, tiny prayer under my breath. My hope tonight is that something is stirring in you. And some of you may feel as I did and want to come alongside. My tiny prayer grew into action, and I can't tell you how thankful I am for that. What's the future for Young Life here in the valley? How deep and big and wide are we going to reach? I don't know. But my faith is sure of what we hope for and certain of what I do not see.
Amen.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well done. Well done.